Welcome already to another edition of TEW 2020 here with WCW 2006. But, well, we're not WCW. We're in Impact again. As is a tradition, I'm doing Impact every few months. I might honestly do a little more, a little less, just depends on when I feel the need to. Honestly, I'm having fun booking these random shows with Paul Levesque and Hulk Hogan and top guys and a third tier promotion as WWE is still alive. It's a very weird world that's been created here, mainly because, as with half of TW games, Stephanie and Paul break up, which is not what it seems like will ever happen in real life. And honestly, I think if I was making a mod, I would actually put on a never cheat thing for Paul and Stephanie, since it seems if they are doing their stuff, they're keeping it on the down low. But anyway, regardless, we're here. It's Impact Lockdown, the fourth pay-per-view in April 2006, and we're live from the Bank United Center. And I think it's somewhere in Coral Gables, or I think. Regardless, we got 7,000 people, which is probably too many. We'll just say a couple thousand paid, I guess. But anyway, Ace of Spades hits. Out comes Paul Levesque, along with the rest of his architects. Apollo, the Puerto Rican star, Christopher Nowinski, of course, from Harvard grad, David Flair, the son of Ric Flair, and Frankie Kazarian, the rising young junior heavyweight. And he comes onto the ring boos the crowd, but also a decent pop because it's still, Triple H in a non-WWE promotion in 2006. So it's still a very real world. And also, it's noted that he and Apollo have the Impact World Tag Team titles, as our announcer puts over the fact that they beat Chronic last month at Destination X and sent Brian Clark out of Impact Wrestling. And Levesque takes mic and says, "Tonight, Lockdown isn't just another pay-per-view. It's a statement, a declaration that the future of professional wrestling is right here, under this roof, molded by the Architects." And Levesque points to Flair and says, "You see, tonight, David Flair isn't just carrying the legacy of wrestling dynasty. He's a spearhead of a new era. Hogan, you're a relic, clinging to the spotlight. And tonight, in this steel cage, David will dismantle that myth, piece by piece." Also tonight in that cage, I'm against Marcus Miltic. And Marcus, I'm not going to deny that you have some talent, some ability, something more, but you're being held back by Hogan. But you see, you can be strong, you can be agile, but this ring, this is my domain. And that cage, muscles won't save you, youth won't save you. It's about mind over matter. And I'm the master of that game. Because these men, my architects, they're just my allies. They're the foundation of a new wrestling empire. Each of them embodies what it takes not only to survive, but thrive in this cutthroat world. And tonight, it's just more about matches, and proving that Impact Wrestling, under my guidance, under our control, will rise to heights unseen. Hogan, your era is done and is just dust. Is dust. The torch isn't passed, it's been taken, and tonight we take everything. We are writing the rules of Impact Wrestling. Because not just the future of this company, but the future of this entire industry. But let's talk about this belt. Me and Apollo claim these tag titles not just as a victory, but as a symbol of our domination in Impact Wrestling. But as a leader, it's my duty to focus on the broader war, just not the battles. So, because I have the stroke here in this promotion, I'm handing my half of the titles to another member of the Architects, Christopher Nowinski. You see, you've proven your worth time and time again. And tonight, you and Apollo will defend these titles against the so-called Hulkamaniacs of Amazing Red and Jesus Axila Jr. You'll show everyone why I chose you to carry this mantle. Crowd, of course, boos this because it's like handing over a title without losing it. This is what it's all about, because tonight is going to prove the futility of opposing us. Marcus, a cage match isn't going to save you. It's a trap and you're the prey. You're in my world tonight, and that's just too damn bad for you. And finally, Hogan, your time is up. David will prove tonight by doing what he should have done a long time ago. You brought me here thinking you could use my star power, but instead I'm going to use it to eclipse you entirely. A cage isn't going to save Militech, it's not going to save Hogan, and let me be perfectly clear, it won't save Impact Wrestling from us, the Architects. We're not just part of this revolution, we are the revolution. Again, big mix pocket because it's still Triple H, but this gets an 81 because it's just, Levesque on the promos, and probably going to be the best segment of the show, honestly. We move forward to the debut of Adam Ortiz in Impact Wrestling, taking on Nick Nemeth, aka Dolph Ziggler, Fun little match here. Ortiz is actually decently over because like he's been wrestling in Wildside forever as a dev territory, and he's been branching out a bit. And plus we're in the Southeast where he's really over. So let's get to 51. Adam Course actually gets a 60. Nick Nemeth gets a 25 as he's still an undercard guy, and his man on mission gimmick got a rating of great, which is good. So yeah, pretty straightforward, match, just a match to debut him on the roster. And there we go. As I looked, and like basically what I did was like use quasi like TNA style hiring as just like finding people who are over and our names, along with some people who might be actually the future. But still not bad. And post-match, Ortiz celebrates to a 54. Then we have the first of our Divas match as Sofia Velasquez defeats Cindy Rogers in 6:13 with the slingshot double knee. A pretty straightforward match here, just like continuing to push Velasquez, who is a region with really good stats, or at least really good potential, I think. And like, honestly, lots of sex appeal, so there we go. I mean, it's still 2006. Rogers is a really decently, undercard heel, was in our territory for a while, but I let her go because she just wasn't advancing as far as like the other stats, as far as charisma. She comes in, pretty okay match here. 39, Rogers gets a 43, Velasquez gets a 20, and there you go. And post-match, she celebrates to a 29. Fun stuff. Then we have an in-ring as JT Lethal comes down with Miss Jackson, aka Miss Jones, his manager, and Lethal talks about how he should be the man, going for the next title, but people just don't have him in line because they're worried that he's the future of this business. And Jason Vex is out there wrestling somewhere else tonight, but when he gets back here, he's reminded that he's a lethal injection to Impact Wrestling, and tonight he's going to prove it against two jabronis, Frank Kazarian and Clyde Storm. 33, mixed against Extraction because he's still a heel, but so is Vex, so, he's just a cocky bastard, basically. And then we have a fun little match here, which gets a 43, where Jay Lethal gets the win over Quiet Storm with the lethal injection in about 15 minutes. Bit of a spot fest, but, it's Kazarian looks good, Quiet Storm's there, Jay Lethal's there. Fun match. Gets a 43, nothing too fancy here. Just straightforward, just win for Lethal, and hopefully the game will actually begin booking him a little stronger, because after I booked him, like, they didn't book him again for, like, a couple months. Again, I can only handle the booking, on the months where I'm actually booking it. And then I have to sort of react to it and make sense of it sometimes. Including this. So we have a match as the Menage Monsters of Ian Harrison, along with, Hydra, come down to the ring. Then the Disco, the Dancing Fools of Disco Inferno and Ernest Miller. Ernest Miller. Disco, tries to say, she, that Menage should, lose these over muscle losers and come, with a real man, who knows how to do it disco style. Again, it's Disco Inferno, the type of promo is going to cut. And he gets killed. Like, he dies. They go after him and the match is on. Gets a 39. Not bad for a little pre-match promo, considering things. And we move forward, and the Menage Monsters kill Disco and Ernest Miller in a little over 4 minutes. Just a complete squash here. Eventually Harrison gets the power slam. 24 overall. Miller gets a 35, Inferno gets a 45, Hydra gets a 15, Jesus and Harrison gets a 23. Again, just a quick squash match to put them over and see if the game actually works them better. And then post-match, Ernest Miller also dies, and, they leave successful, destroying, some people with some actual overness, basically. And this gets a 36. Next up, Tony Xena is in the ring when some unfamiliar music hits, and Alex Shelley comes up to the top of the ramp as our announcer puts over him as one of the rising young stars in the sport, wrestling all over the country, and now he's at Impact Wrestling, making an impact here. This gets a 33. Then the actual match gets a 59 because Jesus Christ, they're both really good. Shelley's actually decently over because of his indie work, and Xena, of course, had his little WCW run with us, and also was in Wildside for a while, and we're in the Southeast also. So this is a fun little undercard match. Again, just a complete high flying mid 2000s X style match. Lots of flips, lots of moves, lots of kickouts, but eventually Alex Shelley hits his finisher, which I'm blanking on, and gets pinfall over Tony Xena here in his debut in Impact Wrestling. This gets a 59, Tony Xena gets a 61, Alex Shelley gets a 53. Pretty good match, again, nothing fancy here, just again, because of the monthly cycles, basically the angles are going to be for the top of the card, and aside from that, it's pretty much just sort of random matches. So there we go. And then Shelley celebrates to a 39 as the announcers put him over as parts of the pillars of the future of Impact Wrestling. Then we cut backstage where Hulk Hogan is with the rest of his Hulkamaniacs. Shiver, aka Glacier, Marcus Militek, who's again Regen, who is under territory forever, Amazing Red, and Jesus Kilo Jr. And Hogan is there, taking the camera. Tight brothers, we're not just fighting for titles, trying to show what Impact Wrestling really stands for. You see, brother, Marcus, you're gonna have a hell of a chance ahead. Remember, every great story in this business starts with overcoming the odds. Levesque thinks he's got your number, but tonight you're gonna prove that I'm wrong and show him the future. That you're the future here, not any of his men, but you are, brother, because you got arms almost as big as mine are, and you're gonna show how bad of a man you really are. Then he turns Amazing Red and Jesus Kilo Jr. Said, Red, Jesus, you guys have the speed, the heart, and the fire to take down those Architechts tonight for those tag titles. And you're just winning for themselves. You're winning for every guy who's been overlooked just because they were part of some grand plan, brother. Then he turns to Shiver, who's sitting there just quietly. Says, and Shiver, brother, I need you out there to make sure it's a clean fight, no interference, no Architect shenanigans. In that tag title match, we play it straight and we play it fair. That's how we do things, brother. And then, he turns to the camera and says, David Flair, your dad was the greatest ever to at least have those boots. But that's your father, not you. You see, despite our problems, I still have respect for your father because of all he did in this business. You've done nothing in this business, and you're stepping there as the real icon and the Impact World Champion. And I'm going to show you why I'm still the man to beat. And Paul, watch closely, because you're going to see what it means to fight with heart, something you and your Architechts have seen and forgot about, brother. Tonight, we stand together, we fight together, and win together. So what you going to do when Hulkamania and the future of Impact Wrestling run wild on you? Again, pretty straightforward, Hulk Hogan promo here. Nothing too fancy. It gets to 79, gets to the Hulk Hogan, so he's still really good. And, these guys obviously don't talk. Then we have Razor showing up, killing Bruce Cake in 3 minutes, and that's it. Just a quick comes out, choke slam. Hellraiser gets a 50, Beefcake gets a 41. Honestly, just kind of a spot for him in the card, but he's decently over. So there you are. He's in a tag team of the New Giants with Giant Singh, but I figured, they've been booking him that way, so I felt we'll just give him a squash one here. And yeah, Hellraiser, he's Hellraiser. He gets a 48. Fun stuff. And then we have our women's, Impact TV's title match as Claudia De La Soy, who's another region with, no, she's actually a real wrestler, sorry. She just didn't break out at all against CJ Lane, who I think becomes somebody, or maybe not, I forget. Anyway, okay match. Again, these women aren't that over. They're fairly new, but, it's not terrible. I could have rated them on sex appeal, but Lane doesn't have great ratings on that, so it is what it is. But, okay match. It was nothing terrible. I mean, it was actually pretty terrible, but nothing, disastrous. 8 minutes gets a 24. CJ Lane gets a 17. Soul gets a 22. And she makes defense number 2 of her Divas title, and she celebrates with the title afterward to a 30. Again, nothing bad, but again, trying to build up, this women's division slowly but surely, which is difficult in a world where, the women actually have jobs with us and WWE, where we would start the Knockout division. And then we have our tag team title match as Winsky and Apollo defend the titles against Amazing Red and Jesus Kilo Jr. Back and forth match. As you expect, Amazing Red places faces in peril forever. Castillo eventually comes in, does a brawling to make the save. Nowinski and Apollo play, heel shenanigans. Things break down. Nowinski outsmarts, and brings the title belt in. Whacks Amazing Red with it. Hits his finisher. 1, 2, 3. Nowinski and Apollo retain the titles, or I guess win the titles, retain the titles. It's right into the titles, so I don't know the exact nomenclature here. But big win here, as it gets a 47. Actually, not that bad. Hell, it might be better than one of the, might be better than the Hogan or Levesque match considering their opponents, but we'll just have to see. As Castillo gets a 43, Amazing gets a 49, Apollo gets a 30, and Nowinski gets a 24. Again, building up these undercard people to see if they become anything. And then fight. The fight continues as Shiver makes a save, and then Frankie Kazarian comes in with a big dive, and the war continues here between the Hulkamaniacs and the Architects. And then we have Lex Luger coming out and basically complaining about, losing the world title last month, saying he's still the narcissist, he's still the total package, and if there's anybody back there who wants to fight, he'll prove it tonight and prove that he should be in line for a title shot. He doesn't care about Hogan or Levesque, he just cares about being at the top of this company. And then some unfamiliar music hits, out comes Perry Saturn of all people to a pop. His badass gimmick gets a rating of great, gets a 52, not bad. And the actual match is not that good because, Lex Luger's Lex Luger, and Saturn's was off his game. It only goes 9 minutes, so it's not too terrible, but, it is still Perry Saturn. It's still Lex Luger in 2006, even if he hasn't like gone totally off the rails like he did in real life, and Perry Saturn was getting older. But, okay match, decent wrestling, good heat, as these guys are pretty over by Impact Wrestling standards. Eventually, Saturn gets up and hits Luger, I'm assuming with a very safe DVD, and gets a pinfall victory over the former Impact World Champion, and this gets a 43. But as Saturn is celebrating, Lex Luger comes from behind and nails him with a deadly forearm and knocks him down, and this feud must continue, and we'll see if the game does anything with it afterwards. And then we have our monthly bikini contest, because this is 2006, and there are women on this roster who have no wrestling skills. And honestly, I just wanted to get some of the Diva Search people a job, since they didn't have, like, they're not getting one for real life, but they're out there. So not bad here, just a bikini contest. It's Candice Michelle, it's Chrissy Hemme, it's Crystal Marshall, it's Marie Kanellis. It happens as it is. This gets a 22, which I'm not surprised by, because I actually rated all these women, and they're not over at all, but it is what it is. It's a popcorn break for anybody back there, so that is what it is. And then we have Paul Levesque coming down to the ring. Again, he gets mostly heel heat, but still some, basically, kind of like The Rock did at Mania. Like, he's still The Rock, so he's still insanely over, but, when he does bad stuff, he gets a heel reaction. And his, entrance here gets a 72. And then we have the actual match, a cage match between him and Marcus Militech. And, oh, wow, okay, this is actually a lot better than I expected. I forget Levesque's this good. But yeah, I mean, very good match. I'm expecting in real life, basically, like, just all laid out by, by our friend Triple H here, just to do every match. Militech probably gets to look good with some brawling. Levesque fires back, come back, hits his, maybe Militech actually gets some sort of like backbreaker or big bear hug, but Levesque, sort of cheats to get out of it, sends him into the cage door, dominates, hits a big high knee. Militech fights back, but eventually Levesque takes over, gains the full advantage, kick, wham, pedigree. I forget if I changed the name or not. But boom, gets a win over the ex-champion in a non-title match, because I didn't want to handle the game booking Paul Levesque ex-champion. As this gets a 75, Levesque gets an 88, Militech actually gets a 55. Not bad. So yeah, fun stuff. Nothing, honestly, obviously I was not going to put him over him yet, because we haven't had the big match, either with me booking or with the game booking. So there you go. And then as Militech is slowly getting up, Levesque hits him with another boom pedigree one more time to the boos of the crowd, as this gets a 61. So then it's time for a main event. As this, David Flair comes down to the ring first to the boos of the crowd. All boos because, A, it's David Flair, and B, he's now heel with Levesque. And then, or at least our generic version of Real America comes down, and it comes down to a big pop. The Impact World Champion gets in the ring for his cage match with David Flair, as his Hogan Flair, but not that type of Hogan Flair, as this gets a 73. And then there's the actual match. Okay, I'm going to guess right now. This gets a 46. Okay, 45, yeah. And yeah, unfortunately, it's a point under that. I mean, this is what I sort of expected. Like, again, I know, like, if I'm just playing the game to win the game, this is bad booking, but it makes sense as far as, like, how we're building things up. Especially because, like, I kind of want to see if the game, like, books Hogan Levesque before I do have a chance to, and then I can build off that. But anyway, Hogan gets a 40, Flair gets a 42. I mean, you can sort of imagine this match, 2006. It's not great. It didn't help they have bad chemistry. Hogan was exhausted after 10 minutes. Okay, Hulk. Flair and George had some excellent chemistry, which is a good, but, that's about it. Like, pretty decent. Like, Flair does a bunch of heel shenanigans, low blows, lots of, cosplay as his father in ring. And eventually Hogan comes back, big slam, big clotheslines, eye rakes, big boot. But he doesn't even hit the leg drop. He hits the axe bomb to get the pinfall here, because Hogan is not going to, do the bump on his, leg brother today. 45 again, like I said, like I guess to 46, which is, so I wasn't expecting much. And then post-match, we have our ending angle as, Hogan, Paul Levesque comes down from the top of the ramp, and it looks like we're going to have a brawl, but in comes the Hulkamaniacs to, sort of face off, and then here, actually, Levesque comes down with the entirety of the Architects, but the Hulkamaniacs come down as well, and we have a standoff as the announcers put over that one day or another, Paul Levesque is going to get that ring with Hulk Hogan, and we'll see who is truly in charge of Impact Wrestling. So yeah, this gets a 53, which isn't terrible. So who did better than okay, so actually, let's see here. Marcus Militech, you actually did better than I thought. Perry Saturn, you actually did decently well for your debut. And Honestly, Alex Shelley. There we go. We'll make a speech. And I'll be back in just a second after it does the loading here. Hey, it's Felix Collenberg. So yeah, Harley Race is in 0-1 because that's a word we're in. Anyway, let's see here. Meal-wise, yeah, all right. Impact got 27,000 viewers, which I forget what the previous show got. So yeah, I mean, it's slowly going down because all the shows are getting worse, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll just see how that goes. But yeah, let's just, like, for the storylines, even though, again, it doesn't matter what happens afterwards. So Hogan Levesque at 67, this has got a 43, this is at a 55 for sort of like the undercard stuff, 67's at a, for the tag title, this hasn't started yet, and this is at a 26, so yeah. But yeah, so again, your champions out of this, your ex-champions still Militech, we'll see how far the game goes with it. Your old tag champions are Apollo and Chris Nowinski being handed the titles. Your Divas champion is Claudia Del Sol, and your world champion is still Hulk Hogan. And I'm shocked it took almost, like, you know, it took 6 months in game for Hogan to get the title. If we go here to Creative, Levesque and Hogan, obviously, next big things. Nobody, Hot Prospects, Miz, Nemeth, Lethal, Deep, Trinity McRae. Talk the talk, it is who you expect. Showstoppers, okay, Inferno, that's, I don't know about that one. Who's hot? Hogan, Shiver, Levesque, Luger, Ortiz. Who's not? Yeah, these guys, we'll see if the game looks any better. Let's see here. Yeah, Inferno's bad, Buff is bad, I don't care. Let's see here. Size-wise, let's see here. Track progress. Yeah, we're slowly losing popularity in the Southeast because we're too big for it. But hey, we're slowly getting popularity everywhere else, so that's a positive. Merch-wise, yeah, no merch yet, or that matters. Backstage is kind of a mess. Let me see here if there's anything else we can do here. Catering is provided. Dirty Dogs transport. Correctors paid for. Organized. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's going to help because, like, yeah, we have Bruce P. Fake, we have Buff Bagwell, we have Marcus Militech, who's a scumbag in game, which I might have to go back and change because I did not notice that when it was created. And this game likes to make created people who are all scumbags, so I might go and slightly affect things just because I don't think that's fair. But yeah, anyway, we go, you know, stables again. Just to remind you, Architechts are Levesque, David Flair, Apollo, Nowinski, and Kazarian. Hulkamaniacs are Hogan, Militech, Shiver, Amazing Red, and Jesus Castillo. And if we go to our roster, just to, like, have a quick little look over things, if we go to reset, if we go to our perception of major stars, so just Hogan and Levesque, and yeah, Hogan is, I think, slowly getting less over. No, I mean, he's at least, like, you know, solidified at 65, which isn't bad. And Levesque, same thing. He came in here at a, yeah, he's still at a 92, which will probably be at until he actually does a job, which I don't see coming anytime likely. And if we go to our stars, I think might be empty. No, okay, so Ortiz comes in as an actual star, mainly because of where he's at. So, yeah, that's interesting. We'll see. The game will probably push him pretty strong because he's in the Southeast. Hellraisers, you know, doing all right. Jason Vex he wrestled for Wildside tonight, which is interesting. And then Todd Sexton is another guy who's over mainly because of Wildside, and we'll see if the game does anything with it because he's not that actually great. He was just on TV for it, but he was just our dev territory forever because he worked for Wildside at the start. Beefcake is here because he's over. We'll see if the game actually treats him as an old guy who needs to be put over, or if they actually put him over people. Buff Bagwell's here. David Flair, like, yeah, he isn't that over, but he was, like, the most guy who worked best. But, like, he's slowly getting a little more over, I guess, is okay. Let's see here. Lex Luger, I mean, he's Luger, and he's only a star here, because I probably have his, like, momentum. But, you know, slowly losing pop still. Militech, I think, is getting pop still, hopefully. Hopefully? Yeah. Yeah, even doing a job to Levesque helped him. Perry Saturn comes in at decently over. Tony Zena's randomly over in places. Shiver is Shiver. Like, again, I just brought him because he was decently over, and he would work well in this time period with a Hogan-backed Impact. Then we have, like, sort of our newcomers. Disco's, like, kind of over, but, like, you know, as, like, again, he just dropped 5 points through that job. Ernest Miller, same thing, I'm guessing. Then we got some of our road agents. Apollo's, again, somebody who the game might push, or he might, like, just, like, be stuck in the mid-card forever. let's see here. And then I think we got a bunch of people who are basically not over at all. Yeah. Look at all these unimportant people. Let me see. Did Amazing Red get more over thanks to, even though he lost the match? A point. Okay, not bad. I guess being in the same segment with Hulk Hogan hopefully that a little bit. But yeah, if you like Candice Michelle, who else was one of the women here? Christy Hemme, like, yeah, they're just not that over at all. So we'll see if the game does anything with them else. Trinity McRae is like, slowly, she's completely new to wrestling, so there's that. Sophia Quez, again, like, she's not good in ring, but look at that star quality, which is sort of why I'm pushing her. She doesn't have great charisma or microphone. She's basically just a pretty face who's like, people think looks good, so she should be good. Honestly, obviously, no current wrestlers who could match that at all. But yeah, she's slowly getting there. We'll see if the game actually books her well. Claudia Selhol, who's our women's champion. Yeah, I mean, she's, getting slowly over there. But yeah, I mean, again, I like doing this every couple months just to have, some, like, reminders of how hard it is to build up a smaller company, because I've just used WCW, where just, like, throw out some great stuff and get an 92 without nothing. But yeah, like, top 100, let me just see here. Was that the best match? Okay, so that was the best match just after our tag match, and then everything else involves, like, yeah. So that was, like, 2 of the best 5 matches in company history. So that's interesting. Yeah, interesting stuff. Events. Where was... I mean, Lockdown's right in the middle here. Attendances, yeah, we're slowly getting worse. Buy rates, viewerships. Least viewed show, mainly because we no longer have the access to Impact Wrestling, being on TV. But yeah, I mean, again, sort of a shorter video this time because we're only doing the one show. There's not a ton of build-up, and I don't have to, like, basically explain everything. So yeah, let me see, is there anything else at all to show you guys? Not really, and I'm sure people have already left after the video ended, because I'm not sure most people don't care. But yeah, I mean, this is fun, again. And yeah, just as a reminder, we only have, like, the one announce it, who's this guy, who's a regen. That's Jonathan Coachman's pitcher, even though that's not Jonathan Coachman. He's an okay, like, color commentator. No, sorry, that's not Coachman. That was just kind of racist. Like, he just looks a lot like Coachman, sorry. He has somebody when announcing, so he's not bad, honestly. But yeah, because we have Sunday obviously in WCW, and we're not letting him go anytime soon. But yeah, I think that's honestly it. So if you enjoy this, go ahead and like, comment below when you're liking, not liking. And yeah, we'll be back to the regular grind next week, as it'll be the go home show for Wrestle War, then we'll on Slamboree, and all that fun stuff. Like I said, for the moment, I'm still going to be just doing one video a week, just because, again, getting back into it, and just like other stuff going on. Again, you don't care about my life, but just, letting people know. But that's it for now. So, talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.